now that WWE is arriving in territories like China, and basically these are places where you're never going to get away with anything controversial. Everything very safe there, rather like US TV, but without a doubt, I believe, and I think you also came to this conclusion, that it looks like for certain now WWE PG is here to stay. This looks like a long-term strategy. When you get countries like China involved and you're making it in there, then that says so much. It means we're probably always going to be safe in WWE.
Yeah, it's it has to be a money factor, and to play it safe and to keep it alive and well in, I think, mainstream pop culture, and no better place to do it than somewhere like China that just absorbs that stuff on a daily basis, and as aware as they are, I'm sure, of the product, to have them on their doorstep and to be able to go and see them live in action, and just for a general presence, I think, in the country, can only mean good business for Vince and co.
So basically it's an ultimatum, I think. I think for fans our age who've watched for a long time and have stuck with the product through thick and thin, the good, the bad, and the downright awful storylines that we've been treated to at times. We've had the excellent Attitude Era, and now we're firmly stuck in that safe PG-13 era. There's a time when you have to say, am I going to continue watching this, or am I just going to leave it and just forget about it, stop and never look at it again? I don't think I'm going to do that. It's been a long time now, and like I say, I've been through the bad, and it hasn't stopped me before. So what I'm wondering now is how many of everybody indeed who is in this age bracket, and I certainly think maybe the 18 to 35 audience are getting a little bit pissed off with the hornswoggles and the various gimmicks that just are so childish, so cheesy, the Cena promos, the cringeworthy humour. It all gets a bit much at times.
It does, and you have to think, like, someday we'll probably have to get married and have kids, us, and all that stuff, and like, I don't know about you, but sitting down and watching it with the wife and the kids on a Monday night or whatnot, or even staying up to watch Raw AM over our side of the pond, and having to get up for work the next day. Will we still watch? That's the question. But again, I think no matter how PG it goes, you're still going to have your Husky Harrises, and you're still going to have your Matt Hardys. So I think once you still have people like that around, we'll probably still watch it.
You really hit the nail on the head there when you just got right to the crunch. And you know, how long can you go on watching a product like this? How long can you have it on your TV when somebody walks in that you know, a friend who maybe doesn't watch, a girlfriend? They're probably going to look at it and say, what are you looking at? And of course Cena doesn't really sell it too much to too many people. Very, very childish at times, and even the humour going back to DX, the most recent incarnation, with just Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Every single time they did that, they just destroyed any kind of legacy or character that gimmick had, by just basically throwing in a load of rubbish humour, and there was no need for it, I thought.
No, there was no need for it. I think it's when they overdo it, they just really just destroy it. And I think Cena, prime time example, like you said, DX, some others too. I think Ray is definitely a big time culprit of that kind of stuff, although you don't really see it and you might not necessarily think it, but do listen to the stuff he talks about on the mic, and you can second guess what's going on in that guy's head. But I think we'll still watch it at the end of the day, won't we?
I believe that Raw is something I will continue to watch, and I just struggle with the SmackDown, and to be honest, these days the TNA, it's tricky to sit there and be so bored. You know, how long do you sit there until your brain freezes over. Now, Raw doesn't give me that feeling. It never has. It's the live element, and of course TNA talking about going live in Thursdays as well in the future, and I think we will speak about that as well here on YouTube, and also if you're with us on justin.tv live. But again, it just is something that I'm probably going to watch, and that's, I think, the whole idea of this video is, are we gonna just not watch? Is it something that we just are going to have to move on from? I suppose it's the heart of the matter, isn't it? It's everything.
Yeah, it can be PG and it can be really good PG, and it can be PG and it can be goddamn awful, horrendous shit. But you just gotta get a happy balance. Consistency is the key. I think we'll be okay.
Well, I think looking at TV and how it has tended to go in the last maybe decade, from about 2000, I think when reality TV hit in, it sort of put wrestling in another bracket, especially World Wrestling Entertainment. These days when you look at NXT and you see intro videos for the characters and the whole reality style competition that's there, you can see how WWE have picked up on that reality show vibe. They certainly have been trying to market themselves for that audience, and indeed putting in guys like The Miz, reality show stalwart. It just shows what they're trying to do, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's sports entertainment.
It's sports entertainment, and that's the key factor, I think, these days when it comes to getting your company to be the best company in the world at what they do, and that is WWE. So I think for TNA to go live, we'll discuss that later on, is a good move. I think they've nothing left to lose really at this stage. But as far as PG goes, I'm kind of okay with it these days.
Yeah, it's something that took a long time to settle with, just to know not so much what was on screen at any one time, but to have an idea that you're never going to see something hugely controversial or groundbreaking or scandalous, such as the McMahon limo getting blown up angle. When I think about that just a few years ago, I'm jealous of the kind of stuff we used to get back then. What about McMahon pretending that he was almost comatose after he lost the ECW championship? He sat in TV tapings on a rocking chair. Where is that kind of effort? Is that stuff too extreme now? Can we not have that because of PG-13? I think that's where it gets fans more than anything else. Sure, we've seen Tugboat and Earthquake and Typhoon and, you know, all those colourful characters from the past, but as regards guys from today, yeah, there's a certain amount of that I expect, but it's always going to be something that I wish for more controversy, more, you know, angles that really are good.
They're backed into a corner. I'll tell you why. Because you have an influx of old and new, and you have all these guys in a PG environment who have, for the most part, a kind of an attitudey look, from your Ortons to your Edges. The only real over-the-top gimmicks, you think about it, Kane, Taker, who else? That's really it. You have a Lucha Libre kind of Mysterio, you have a Goldust, that's about it. Now, on the flip side, if you have the old school way of attitude-ish with the over-the-top gimmicks, it's a conflict of interest, really. So I think where they are now with it, it needs to reverse one of them and blend both.
Indeed, and I couldn't have put it better. They've set it up, like you say, with people now who just don't actually have the potential to be controversial. Like you say, their characters all quite safe. Even guys like a Zack Ryder. I mean, he would have been doing crazy stuff back then.
Do you see his shirt? How cool is that? I want one of those shirts with the woo on the...
Amazing gimmick.
It's a great shirt.
And indeed, yeah, that's where it's hopeful. Finally now, it's not just me thinking about, right, I've got to put up with PG, I've got to put up with a safer storyline and angles. I'm accepting that now, and not only that, I'm also buying people like Sheamus and indeed Wade Barrett. Already I can see huge potential in a Sheamus versus Wade Barrett match. I'm not sure where that came out of, because about 2-3 months ago, I'm not sure I bought either of those. I certainly recognise Barrett for his confidence in the ring, and indeed Sheamus just really is the hometown competitor. But right now I think he's done exceptionally well to put himself in that main event.
Yeah, he's great. I just every week when that music hits and he's got some sort of promo, I haven't seen one that hasn't made me properly laugh, and it's not many of them that can do it, I think, these days. Jericho is another one, but it kind of rehashes them a little bit and definitely reuses a lot of the same old. I think the only other one that really cracks me up is, or I'm absolutely loving, is London Brawling from TNA. I think that's absolute comedy gold from start to finish. I love that shit on Impact.
It is interesting you mentioned TNA. I mean, the other side, if you like, the controversial side, the place where you will see blood, you will see things that you want to see, but half the time they just seem to do it so messily. They kind of sporadically throw a bit of blood on Flair, and then nobody else is anyway badly caught for the rest of the show. I mean, everybody has to sort of participate in an angle, not just one guy selling it. I suppose EV 2.0, the exception, to give them their credit. They were beat down and definitely the worse for wear. What else is there? I mean, apparently beatdowns can be done in PG land. What can't be done? I suppose a lot of Stone Cold Steve Austin stuff, the beer truck, all that, it's never happening.
It's never happening. It's gone, forever gone, locked in the archives.